Last episode, I shared with you my little cautionary tale about ordering iPhones. Actually, just my experience this year in ordering my iPhone 14 Pro, which has been a harrowing one. One thing that I didn't mention and actually came up from a listener was that, the carrier games. Let's talk about the carrier games a little bit. So, I think, as you know, if you listened to the last episode, I ended up buying my iPhone from a local Verizon store. I moved recently. I used to be in San Diego where there was pretty much an Apple store on every corner. I don't have that luxury anymore. The closest Apple store to me now is 4.5 hours away, and I know a lot of you can relate to that. It's a little bit different. It's a change for me. It's very easy for me to get to an Apple store, and now it's not so much. I do have a great Apple authorized reseller, though, about an hour away. And yeah, so that's not too bad. And I'll be going there if I need repairs or things like that. But, on launch day, they can't really help you with an iPhone. It's not a place you can typically walk into and get an iPhone. So since my iPhone was damaged and being returned to Apple, and my only option was to get a replacement that wasn't going to come for a month until the end of October, I was looking for other options outside of having to drive 4 hours to an Apple store. And I thought, hey, I'm a Verizon customer. I have a Verizon store in town. I wonder if they have any iPhones. I wasn't really expecting it, but I called them up. They had the exact model I was interested in, and they only had one. They had one model. It just happened to be a 256 gigabyte deep purple iPhone 14 Pro. And I'm like, great, hold on to that. I will be right in. So I went in, and when I told the rep that, hey, I just want to buy the phone, can I just give you the cash and I'll take it and I'll take care of the activation and the transfer and blah, 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 I got a really puzzled look. They looked at me like, you want to do what? You want to just buy the phone and take it? We can't do that. We can't allow that. And sure enough, his boss said, yeah, on launch weekend, we can't do that. And this is what came up with the other listener. They walked into an Apple store. The Apple store had the phone they wanted, but they said, unless you buy a carrier version, we can't sell you one. We cannot sell you a pure unlocked phone, and you can't walk out of here with it. There might be other locations that have them, but we don't have them. And it's something that Apple and the carriers do. I don't know. It's super annoying. What was going on at my store is basically they told me straight out, yeah, Verizon wants to lock you into a contract for 3 years. They don't want you to just buy a phone. So they ended up having to do this weird trick where she said, oh, well, you can pay, for all of the phone except 36 cents. And then what we'll do is we'll set you up on paying 1 cent per month for 3 years. So 36 cents. And then really in the first month, you can just pay all of that off, and then you'll own the phone and you'll be out of contract and whatever. So I ended up doing that. But I mean, like, these games are just dumb. So there was that, having to deal with that. And I know many of you who live in other countries are like, what? Yeah, the US is weird. Carriers are weird. That's generally why I like buying my phone from Apple and really not dealing with the carrier, so that I can just buy it outright. But man, that part's weird. And if you think that part is weird, I have one more part of this story to share with you, the continuing saga. Because lo and behold, I was sitting here today in my office doing my normal stuff, and my wife came in and she had a package for me. Guess what that package was? No, not the replacement iPhone that Apple said they were going to send me that was going to come at the end of October, because I had canceled that. This was the mysterious broken iPhone that I had originally ordered that was supposed to be here on the 16th, and here it showed up on the 22nd. And I was thinking, wait a minute, this was damaged according to UPS. What is it doing here at my house? And in a box, mind you, that had zero damage on it. This was a pristine new 14-inch iPhone Pro, deep purple, 256 gigabyte iPhone. excellent condition, everything. I have no idea what happened. I called up Apple support. I called up their second tier escalation department. I talked to a lovely gentleman named Jason there, and he was just as puzzled. He looked it up and he said, "Yeah, we saw that it was supposed to be returned, but we haven't seen any update on the package since the 16th when it was reported damaged and being returned to Apple until we saw it show up at your house." So needless to say, now I have to return an iPhone 14 Pro 256 to Apple. Luckily, they gave me a return label, but I still have to drop it off at FedEx, and it's just like it's crazy. I've never experienced anything like this before. So I don't know if anybody else has, or if this is the first time anything like this happens. I wish I could get into the inner workings at UPS. If anybody at UPS knows how this could have happened, or maybe has a theory that you can share with me, even anonymously, I would love to know what went down, because this is completely bizarre. So it's broken, damaged. We're sending it back to Apple, and then it still winds up at my house. It's just somewhat annoying because had I known that it was going to get here this week, I never would have gone through the rigmarole of one, trying to get a replacement, two, trying to maybe go to Minnesota or find someone elsewhere, find one elsewhere. I would have just waited for it to show up. I just didn't want to wait a full another month before I got the iPhone, because I like to talk about features and things with you folks. So that's what's going on. That's the updated saga. So bizarre.